everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Second Chance Queen podcast. I'm Kristianna Mrjenovich, your host and the Second Chance Queen. And tonight you may notice that there is a new sash hanging behind me because this is my first podcast episode as the newly crowned International Ms. North America. So to kick off this new era of my life, I'm going to be interviewing my brand new sash sister, Misty Lee Coolidge, who is the brand new International Mrs. USA 2026. Before we get started with Misty, let me let you know a little bit about her. Misty Lee Coolidge is a wife, mom of three, entrepreneur, and hunger activist. Recently crowned International Mrs. USA 2026, Misty plans to empower as many as possible by continuing her mission, Crushing Hunger Tour, traveling across the U.S. to fight hunger in all 50 states, as an advocate with Feeding America and volunteering in soup kitchens. She's visited 17 countries globally through the Global Food Banking Network, To Cry for Grace, Heifer International, and FIBA. She is an accomplished children's book author and co-hosts the annual runway show Flowers That Feed with Whitley Nabintu Marshall and hosts a 5K to fight food hunger at her own family business. She currently owns Coolidge Family Farms and Maine Mixologists. Please join me in welcoming Misty Lee Coolidge. Welcome to the Second Chance Queen podcast, Misty. I'm super excited to have you on tonight.
So excited to be here, girlfriend.
We're going to have so much fun. I would love for you to kick off the episode by telling our listeners what your most pivotal second chance moment would be.
Well, off the top of my head, I would say that my second chance would be with International Ms. I started out in that system in 2019, and that was my first time competing. I had just come off another pageant, and I really just wanted a weekend away with my friends. I didn't put much effort into it. It was more of an entrepreneurial-based pageant at the time, and it was a lot different then. And coming back, I was encouraged, let's just say, to return because a lot of things had changed. The pageant had become more community service based and really based on working queens. And being one of those, it's really hard to be seen in this industry as a working queen. There are still a lot of pageants exist out there that are based on beauty, based on what you do on that stage. And for me, that's fine. But I work so hard at my platform and helping others that having the majority of your score based on one performance is really hard when you bring so much to the table. And I bring a lot to the table. Finally, to be seen for that work that I put in I'm so honored and so excited and so just almost speechless that I'm just elated for this year. I still, even looking back to Saturday, like it was so fresh for both of us that I still didn't know who that winner was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be me. I didn't feel it. Like I know I gave 100%. I know I brought my wardrobe. I know my answers were great. I felt good after my interview, all those things, but you still don't know. And even the top five were all, the whole class was killer, amazing women. But the top five, I was like, oh, I still don't know if it's me. Even then, have my name called, like I'm so honored that you were my first runner-up because you're kick-ass as well. So yeah, just to come back and have this be my second chance at International Ms. But it was such a long time ago too that have such a huge change. But I've changed a lot since 2019 too. So, but the pageant certainly has too.
I love that. And honestly, I think back to like who I was in 2019 and I am like night and day as a human being. So the concept of this pageant being 10 years old this year and it being evolved so much is super cool. I do want to say also congratulations, officially like on air. For those who don't know, if you haven't seen the International Ms. results come in for the USA titles, Misty was the International Mrs. USA winner that was crowned on Sunday, January 4th, and I was her runner-up, which was super cool. Loved that we were the two people standing there. I love so many ladies that were at that pageant, so I really didn't know what that was going to look like you said. But when the second runner up got called and like we turned and looked at each other and knew that we were the final two, I feel like I will never forget that. That was such an insanely cool moment. And I loved that we got to
Such a
experience that.
memory.
And it's so funny too because both of us are such close friends with Whitley Nabintu Marshall. So my heart was kind of feeling for her because both of her best friends were standing there. And so she obviously didn't know what was going to happen, but it worked out because we both wound up with crowns that night, and that was a super cool experience. And I have to say that I had someone make a comment that I looked like a total jerk because the clip that they saw of crowning, like, you were in shock and I like grabbed you and said something to you. I don't even know what I said. I think I said, "Congratulations, you did it," or something like that. And then I held you for a second and then I started to walk away so that you could have your moment, and you kind of like grabbed me and I kind of reached back out for you, and then I was kind of pulled to go do the picture. So somebody said to me, they're like, "You kind of look like a jerk. You just left her standing there." And I was like, that was not my intention at all. And I think you know that I was not trying to like snub
Like,
you at all. I
no,
was just like,
it happened so fast. And we were specifically told that the first runner-up needs her moment, and to make sure you step forward and get your photo and get that acknowledgement. No, get your first runner-up photo. And so we knew that was happening. And I mean, it was just so real. And I just still, I couldn't believe it. So I bent over again as you were turning. So it was kind of like a weird thing, but I totally know where you were going, and I don't know, you were fine. You were not a jerk.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you didn't think that, because they said that to me and I was like, no, no, no. I wanted to get my moment out of the way so she could have her moment. It was totally out of love. So thank God that absolutely. I'm glad you know me and you knew that it was not like that, because anybody else might not have like realized. I was just trying to get out of your way so you could get sashed and crowned because I was so excited. And I've had a lot of people too ask me like, were you so devastated in that moment? And honestly, I wasn't. I don't think it really hit me that like, hey, you got so close and you missed it. Like in my mind, I was just like, oh, Misty got it. And I just went walking back, and it was just like, it's so quick. You don't really have time to process things. So, and I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I love the way it played out. So our crowning was super special, and I love the pictures of you like bent over holding my hands and I'm like laughing, and it was just so cute.
I wait to get the rest of them from Eva and the others from Reza, and then see what our call with Laura next week looks like. I'm really excited for all of that to unfold.
I am too. I'm really excited, and I am excited to reign with you. And China are phenomenal queens, but having working queens, and that's something that I feel like every year I always have gotten a little bit nervous with International Ms, because International Ms is a standout system for working queens. If you're a working queen, that is the system for you, hands down, because that is what they want. They want working queens. They want women that are empowering. And so every year when a new title holder is crowned, there's a little part of me that gets nervous that the judges will shift away from that legacy at all, which I'm sure Laura guides them not to, but it's always a fear, you know? International Ms is different.
When I had my interview, I stood there for, 30, 45 seconds and gave my introduction. And I reeled off my resume. So to share those accolades with the judges, I mean, I had 2 or 3 of the judges like eyes just like, wow, pop open to hear all that I've done and the awards that I've won and the hours that I've put in. And then and I had forgotten to give them my pounds of food that I've been a part of serving with Feeding America after I left the room. Like I add up all those hours that Mikkel made me add up this past week, and I forgot to say it in my interview. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. And so thank God that I was given the second chance to give my impact statement and share those numbers with the judges. And I turned around and the impact statement wasn't what I had rehearsed, but because I love public speaking, I really don't get nervous. And so it still came out really great. And I turned around and in my head, I was like, oh my God, I messed up. But then I made eye contact with Serena's date who was on the corner behind me, and he whispered to me, he's like, "You just won." And I was like, really? I mean, my face was like questioning what he was saying to me, but I was like, oh, well, maybe I didn't sound all that bad. But I was finally able to get that number out, which I was very, very happy, very happy about.
I feel like remembering all of those stats, especially when you're women like us, where you're constantly like adding accolades, adding stats, trying to remember all of those. Like, I would confuse myself because my reign technically started as soon as I left International Ms. I had the Florida title in my hands like a couple weeks later. And so a lot of people think a year, like 2025, it's 12 months. But for me, it was 15 months of work. So I'm trying to like not cross the hours that I did since International Ms. the previous year with the ones that I did in only 2025. And it was just like jumbling in my brain. But when you add up those figures as a title holder, I'm sure you feel such a sense of pride. So I would love to hear what your figures that you gave are. I'd love for the listeners to hear those stats and that win list you have.
Yeah, so I have been fighting hunger for over 25 years. It could be longer than that, but that's the number I keep giving for years. Growing up in poverty and having my mom, have to utilize food stamps and WIC, and going to the country kids kitchen bread store at home and buying the day old breads to put in the freezer to save, not getting seconds at dinner because that meal needed to be for another night's meal after school. And just going from poverty to pageant queen has just been so amazing. I didn't originally know if I was a pageant queen. I was scouted and I was like, that's not me. But I quickly learned that it wasn't about, beauty on a stage. It was more than that. And I could make a bigger impact with my passion for fighting hunger with a title. I learned that really fast, that I could have a louder voice, make bigger change, just have an impact that I wanted to have in my platform, in filling bellies, filling cupboards, and putting food on tables. So 10 years ago, I was scouted for my first pageant. And since then, my life has changed so much. I've just seen such a blessing. I've seen so many stories. I've been a part of so much, and I'm just so humbled by it. To be able to feed the homeless, work at food banks, travel with my free flight benefits through American Airlines. I've been able to travel all over the country and all over the world, working on putting a dent in ending world hunger. I've been to 38 states and 17 countries in the past 3 years. Like, that is huge. And then adding up all of my pounds of food that I've put out in the past 3 years, I have put out 244,000 pounds of food. Part of all my volunteer shifts, that's what we have put out, and I've been a part of 244,000 pounds of food in 3 years. So that number just blew me away. And then, winning my first Global Beauty Award last year for best title holder over 45, I was blown away by that. I mean, yes, I do so much, but I've met women that do more and that inspire me. Like, I met a pageant queen a couple of years ago that's building a school for the deaf in Haiti. Like, those are some amazing, amazing accomplishments. So yes, I contribute in my own way. And I guess I just don't realize how big what I do really is, because I'm still humbled by it. It's a blessing to be able to do what I do, and I don't take it for granted. Every day I wake up, I put my feet on the ground, and I'm like, okay, I've been given another day. What change can I make today, this week, this month, this year? What goals can I accomplish? And even though my goals are big, and they still are, what are the baby steps I can take each day to get me there? Because if you stop and you become stalemate, then those goals aren't going to get accomplished. So I'm super excited to be up for 3 awards this year at the Global Beauty Awards. Best title holder again, 45, most impactful over 45, and then the Carrie Damiano Style Award. I love fashion. I've met so many designers walking at New York Fashion Week for 6 years, Paris Fashion Week last year. I've walked at Gulf Coast Fashion Week down in Mississippi. I've walked at Cayman Island Fashion Week. So I love fashion. My mom's a designer. She has designed clothes for me. I've met so many designers that I've had a vision in my head. Like I dream about clothes. I have a problem. So I'll have a vision in my head of something that I create, and I'll reach out to a designer friend of mine and with a sketch, can you make this for me? And I'll send you the fabric, or do you have fabrics that you can share with me? And they'll create a new look, which I find so amazing that I have those connections and can make those things happen for myself. And that's just in the people that I've met over the past several years, doing what I do with the doors that have opened for me. So I'm really blessed. I don't take any day for granted, and do whatever I can to help with my platform and so many others. Like I serve on so many boards. I'm the president of my NACE board. I'm on my local school board. I'm on 100 Women Who Care of Southern Maine. I'm on the Junior League. So there's so many boards that I belong to and other charitable causes that I support throughout the year. So as much as I can do, I do it because I can't sit still.
You are an absolute powerhouse. Like, I honestly feel like I never sit still with everything that I accomplish and I do. And I think you have me beat. And that is very hard to do. Like, I've been told that beating what I do is difficult from the people in my daily life. And now I just need to be like, you need to see Misty because she has me totally beat. That is a lot. So kudos to you for being able to juggle it all. I mean, that's a feat in itself, is being able to show up where you need to show up and handle what you need to handle. And that's huge. I love that. I also love the ring of, yeah.
And then being a business owner, 100%. Like that's above that. I own 2 companies. I own 5 properties. I'm a landlord. I have 3 little ones and pets and 5 properties and houses to maintain. And I'm a realtor. I just became a realtor this year, and I want to get into real estate development. I just started a Girl Scout troop. I have my first meeting next Tuesday, and I had a Zoom call today with my co-leaders. There's so many amazing things, and I'm just happy with it all.
Love that. Yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's astounding. Most impactful definitely has your name on it. I'm just going to put that out in the universe now. I have a knack for like manifesting things. I don't know if you saw the side-by-side of my crowning moment with the ChatGPT rendering that I did back in September.
That was so cute.
Manifested. So we're just going to put most impactful out in the universe right now for Misty Lee Coolidge, because that would be amazing. Totally love that. You mentioned big goals. So as your sister queen, I know that one of those goals is to visit all 50 states as Mrs. USA for your Crushing Hunger tour. But are there any other large goals that you have that you'd like to accomplish as Mrs. USA this year?
So yes, I definitely have 12 states to work on this year. I'm not sure if I'll get through all of them, but I did have them on my empowerment plan that I submitted. So I will really want to try to make that plan a reality. And then right now I have, I believe, 7 countries that I'm planning to visit this year. Hopefully I'm going to 2 or 3 in March, hopefully flying over to see Mikkel and visit her and do some volunteerism work over there, sort of a mission trip. Going to Ireland with SU in May, I think that trip is. And I know, even though that's for a magazine and it will be involved a photo shoot, I'm definitely going to connect with the Global Food Banking Network while I'm there and get some hours in, because whenever I travel, no matter what I'm going for, like my husband and I will go on an anniversary trip, and he's like, what do you got going? What are you doing tomorrow morning? I'm like, well, I'm going to the food bank. You can sleep. He's like, honey, it's our anniversary. I'm like, there are still hungry people here. Like I have to give my part. I have to do my part. He's like, oh, okay. But he knows me. So, he's like, I'll just sleep, or I'll go to a bar and have a beer. And sometimes he volunteers with me. So like in Boston, he did a shift with me. And there were a couple other states that he came with me too. So that's, you can see what I do when I go there. So that's really cool. But the states and the countries are really big. I'm really wanting to make it to Milan Fashion Week this year, because I love fashion so much. I'm manifesting that I make it to the other big cities' fashion weeks. It's been a long time dream of mine to even walk at Fashion Week. When that came to fruition a few years ago, and I started meeting other people and other designers, and I had other opportunities to walk at other fashion weeks, I'm like, well, the options are endless. It only stops with me. Like I should make these things happen. So I've been reaching out to designers. Are you going to Milan? Are you going to Milan? Are you going to Milan? So I'm trying to make that happen. I've said no to New York Fashion Week in February to a couple people, only because I'm trying to get to Milan. Like their money only goes so far. So if I say yes to New York, then I kind of have to say no to Milan. So I don't want to. I want to leave that door open. So I've kind of closed to New York, so door a little bit, just so I can make sure I don't miss out on Milan. So we'll see how close I come. And then I'm going back to the Cayman Islands this year. The founder of Cayman Island Fashion Week is making it's her 5th anniversary of putting on Cayman Island Fashion Week, and she's making it a global summit fashion week. So she's inviting models and designers from all over the world. And she said, you and Mikkel have got to come back. I've got a couple of designers I want you to work with. I want you to model my line. We'll do a photo shoot in my line for my magazine. There'll be so many amazing opportunities, so please don't miss it. And how do you say no to that? So even though it's the week after the Global Beauty Awards, I'm going to go. Mikkel's going to go. We're going to share a room again, and we're just going to have a blast. Like I hung out with Nigel Barker the last time I was there at the pool. Like that's a once in a lifetime,
I'm jealous.
like can't believe moment. So I'm really excited to hopefully see him again and other celebrities that she has invited. And then, just work through the year, get those states and countries done. My wedding season is May through October, so I will be traveling less then, but I do plan to cross a few states off my list. My husband works, has Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays off, so I'm going to try to plan to fly out and volunteer on a Monday and come back on a Tuesday. So there'll be quick trips, but they'll be when I don't have weddings. And then hopefully going to UK, and you and I and China have got to talk about that in November and put that on our calendars, because that is International Ms. UK Pageant is in November, where Chelsea went. So we need to make sure that 3 of us make a plan for that at the end of the year to go and make that trip together. We'll have so much fun. And I want to make sure that we get some volunteer work in over there, maybe go to a few different countries while we're there and making it worth our while.
I have to get my passport now, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes. I know that Chelsea went last year as International Ms., but I bet we could. I'm sure Laura would be open to all of us going this year, regardless of title.
I love that your second chance is International Ms., because I think that's super special. It highlights how special the system is. Obviously, you got much different results this time. So with my platform being so confidence-based, I would love to hear what your definition of confidence is.
I think confidence is just knowing yourself and what you bring to the table, and knowing, the life you've lived, the experiences, the lessons you've learned, and having the confidence to put yourself 100% forward and just be okay with whatever you present yourself as. That's confidence. Being comfortable in your own skin, and knowing what you bring. I think that's confidence in a nutshell, for sure. And I know that watching myself on stage in my gown, I'm like, damn, like I was so confident. Like I was so relaxed. I wasn't nervous. This is not my first rodeo. I haven't done this for 10 years. I know what I bring to the table. I know I'm a powerhouse. I love public speaking. I love volunteering. I love people, and it's a lot. So I was so confident because of the experience that I bring, and that I've had. It's what's built me to be who I am today. So I definitely do not lack confidence.
I love that. I champion for that. So that is totally, and I definitely relate to that feeling, because I think both you and I were in very similar mindsets with finals weekend. We were both very confident in what we did, what we brought to the table.
Absolutely.
We obviously bring very different things to the table, but we were very confident in what we brought to the table. And we also knew how it could help International Ms. and how it could be a symbiotic relationship. So I love that we both had that. And I can definitely say that the Working Queens won again. We pulled it out again. So that is super exciting. I love your definition of confidence. Is there anything specific other than experience? Like, is there any specific thing that you think contributed to showing up this year in a different way and competing at the level that you did?
I mean, every pageant I go into, I don't know if it's different this time than the last. I just really want to build relationships, and sisterhood is really important to me, and going in and being myself and just having fun. I think that I always try to do that with pageants because there's only one winner. Well, in our case, there's three. But first and foremost, you have to show up to have fun. You have to show up to all of the events. You have to attend. You have to be 100% present. And I was. I went to everything, super excited. I was involved. I don't think I brought anything different. I just think I maybe brought more confidence. I know Laura. I know her expectations. I know in having friends that are former title holders and knowing what they brought to the table. My wardrobe crushed, all things. I was happy with with the 4 suitcases I brought with me. So I think the whole package showed up. I wanted to be present. I wanted to make friends. I wanted to build relationships. Super excited about my hair and makeup. I'm in love with Lisa. She's totally kick ass. Obviously got best friends that are formers. I know the director. I'm fully confident. So all of that rolled into one package landed me where I am. And I'm so thankful and excited for what this year is going to bring. And I told my husband when I got home, I'm like, be ready for a ride because I'm taking you on one. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to be there for all the things.
I absolutely love that. And I think that we also have a really good trinity going on. I think China's fantastic. I got to spend time with her at the Still She Rose luncheon. She was super cool. Obviously you and I have known each other for a few years. We haven't gotten to get super close, but I have a feeling that will probably change throughout our reign together. So I really look forward to that. And I feel like the doors just open. I don't know if you have the same feeling, but I had someone say to me, your life is about to change this year. Like this title just opened doors, and I just have this feeling that your life is going to change. And
it does.
For someone,
it does.
You're a pro. I mean, you are literally a pro. Like you said, you've done this 10 years. You've been through this rodeo. You've won crowns. You are a queen. For someone like me that's coming into this, I mean, you met me at my first ever pageant that will not be named back in January 2024. And then last year's International Ms, coming second runner up for Mrs. USA. I just had a goal of improving over that year. And then coming back this third time, or the second time to International Ms, but my third ever pageant, walking away with a national title. It's like, yes, I got my second chance. And then all these people are kind of telling me what to expect. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What?
It's a lot. And it can be overwhelming. And that's one thing that's really great about Still She Rose initiative is that mentally we are in for a ride and you have to be prepared for that. And just in the past few days, I've gotten phone calls, messages, opportunities. Can you do this? Are you available for this? And then obviously doing this now, I have got another show podcast I'm doing on Tuesday for a television show. I've got all of these feelers out to national television shows. I had two or three magazines reach out to me. Hey, love to get some national photos, feature you on our cover. Can I interview you? Love to. Yes, absolutely. Just taking the chance to breathe and say yes, but also it's okay. And that's why I'm telling you, since this is your first national title, that it's okay to say yes, but say, can we do that next week? Can I fit you in here? Because you want to say yes to everything, but you can't do everything at the same time. So spreading things out a little bit, and it's good for social media too. You have all the opportunities that you're not turning down, but you're saying, okay, I'm booked this week. How about next week? How about the week after? I'm super excited about the opportunity. I'm there for you. I'm there for all of it, but I've got other commitments I need to stick to first. And so making yourself a priority. I know I've got a board retreat for one of the boards I serve on this weekend. So Saturday night and Sunday, I will be at that. I'm the president. So I've got to put that hat on this weekend. My daughters have their pageant in April. So now we need to prep and get them ready for their pageant. So super excited about that. So there's so many things, but also goals that I have to fit into the pockets too. So having a calendar and putting everything in its place is really important so that I don't get overwhelmed and I take my mental break and really breathe, sleep, enjoy so that I don't get burnt out. And I don't want that for you either. I was fortunate in 2021 to hold the Mrs. USA title for the worldwide pageant system. So this is my second run at this title. Honestly, that year was one of the best years of my life, hands down. And now, having learned what it was like, and then going on to the next year to win my first international title with Mrs. Worldwide, like that was another amazing, amazing year, two of the best years of my life. And so being able to have this opportunity to do this again, wow, like so blessed to say, okay, I know what I did. I want to do more. I want to make this year even bigger and even better. I want to come back. I don't know when I'm going to retire from pageantry. I don't know. My husband hopes sooner than later. But I mean, I was looking for a place to call home and a place to be seen and a place that I can be myself. And I feel and I know that I have found that. So now that I have this title, and if I'm so fortunate to take home the international title either this year or next year, I have to make the decision, is this it for me? Am I going to keep looking? Because I don't need to. Like, I've done the things, I've crushed the goals. I feel like if I were to compete somewhere else and lose, it would break my heart. At some point, and I feel like because this system is so spectacular, I feel like this is the place that I want to retire and be able to root for the rest of my life, saying that, bring people in all the time, always be recruiting for the system, be recruiting for Laura, maybe join her staff. That would be, something that I would consider doing, especially since Serena and Whitley are already a part of the system and the staff. Like, being able to work with them on her pageants would be just a blessing. So I feel like I'm home, and I'm really happy, and I'm super excited to have the opportunity to crush this year and see what other doors that I can get to open for me, or that are going to open automatically for me. Only time can tell.
Your outlook on things. And I feel like I would feel very similar. You have a very successful pageant career. So yeah, I feel like going out on a win would be a good opportunity. I would feel very upset too if I had a win and then I tried somewhere else and I was not as successful. That would like break my heart. So I get your sentiment there with kind of being like, okay, well, I got this. Let's see what this opens and kind of go from there. Because I could say the same thing. And that was kind of why, honestly, I wanted this moment and this title with this system for me too. Was when I watched the first time I ever saw International Ms. Whitley was on the stage giving up her title. And I saw her on the stage and I had this moment of, wow, she is unique. She brings something really special to the table as a title holder.
She does.
Maybe I could have a chance here. Like maybe this could be a stage that I could earn my title on. And so I tried it and
ta-da!
I got so close the first time, and that just lit a fire. I was like, I have to. And so when I showed up this year, there was a different fire in me that was like, okay, like this is serious. And now that I've done it, a friend of mine asked if I had a lot of pressure to win internationals. And I was like, desire? Yes, of course, because we wouldn't continue with this system if we didn't want to win the international title. I was like, but pressure? No, because my big dream was to experience a crowning moment with this system, and I did that. So now I can have fun. Yeah. Like that pressure is off my shoulders. So I feel like no matter what happens, internationals is going to be a super fun experience for us. We get to have all of these months together as sister queens and reign. And it's also funny because I don't know if it's the same for you or China, but for me, like, we're sister queens in my mind first. Like, I know that we compete in September and we're all competing at the same system for one crown this time. But I don't look at you guys like, now they're going to be my competition and now I'm going to have to like I just feel like we're going to have so much fun as sister queens, and I look at it as reigning together, and then we'll get to internationals and we'll have a great time and see whatever happens, and then continue on with our reign until we crown our successors. So I know for me, I'm just looking forward to the sisterhood and having fun and being able to bounce ideas off of each other and see how we can collaborate. You know, one of the first things like I wanted to do was get you on this podcast and be like, look, I got my sister queen. So I love that. Now I've got to get China on here. But that's what is so special, I think, about International Ms. is so many of those women, all of them were so worthy. And so being able to be the two that kind of carry the torch this year is an honor and a privilege. And I want to get all of them on the podcast too. Yes. I'm going to have a very busy podcast year because that was part of my empowerment plan, was and then highlighting the women.
And being Miss North America really fits that, because if you bring in queens from all over all of the states in North America, I mean, that's part of that title is, you know, touching all of the states that you represent.
Yep. I love that. And I want to highlight the women that we competed with as well as the incoming queens, because I feel like as North America, it's my duty, same as if I was USA, part of my plan was to highlight those incoming queens, that next class of delegates. So I think I'm going to try and balance between the women that we had the honor of competing with and also making sure I know who's incoming to highlight them, to give them a platform ahead of the pageant so that the world can get to know them as well. Because we're all about empowerment around here. That's kind of the whole point of International Ms., which is super cool.
And I hope a lot of the other women that we competed with come back because they're all amazing. And I hope, and I'd love to, and I sent Sarah a message. I'm like, girl, I hope you come back because you've got you've got it. And you know, you don't know when your time is, and your time. And I'm like you've got to come back because you're freaking amazing. You know, being one of your best friends.
Sarah's phenomenal. Yeah, Sarah's one of my best friends in the world. She did phenomenal. She has grown so much. I've kind of had a front row seat to her growth this year. You know, we were the two queens that were coming back to compete again. And unfortunately, that's the thing with pageantry is in our minds, we did not plan. I know I did not plan for a scenario where we walked away with one of us winning our crown. Obviously, it's always a possibility, but the ideal for us was like one's USA, one's North America. Yay! I didn't even prepare for the possibility that I could be in this crown and she not be. And I think that's the hardest thing with pageantry when you're competing with friends and women that you love and admire so much, is you find yourself with a crown on your head and you're so excited and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to do all of these things. And then you go, wait.
It's really hard. You want to celebrate your moment, but at the same time, there are broken hearts behind you, women that worked just as hard. They're amazing. We all have amazing stories and why we do what we do. I mean, but I've been there. Like I've been back there and so many times I've lost. You know, but there's been times I've won, and I think every queen has to find that system that they're going to win at, whatever that might be. There's so many systems, and even if it's international, even if this one isn't theirs, but I know if you're a working queen, then this is the one for you, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like when I competed in 2019, Cal and I and our friend Heather went to New York together. We just went because we wanted a girls' weekend. We're like, let's go sign up and do a pageant together. Like we had no expectations. We really didn't put in much effort. I mean, I know, I guess I didn't, but Mikkel won. Like she won the Ms. USA title. So, and Heather and I were just so happy for her. Didn't even cross our minds. We're like, oh my God, I didn't even try. So we were so happy that she won, and being a good friend of ours. So, and I won a runway award at that pageant. So I have a little award from that one, and my crown is so different. It's such a night and day crown from what it looks like now from what it did look like in 2019. So
I think us talking about that too, and like highlighting the mental health aspect, especially being Still She Rose. I've been an ambassador for 2 years. You will now, I'm sure, be becoming one since you are Mrs. USA. I think it is important to highlight the good and the bad that comes with pageantry with any system, and the mental health highlighting especially. I mean, we're in the throes of post-pageant week. We are in like pageant hell right now, where you're hungover, you're feeling all of these feelings. You were just at this extreme high, and now you're coming back to normal life and everything's kind of like smacking you in the face. I still can't get this tan off, all of the things. My face doesn't match my body. It's okay, we're good. But the week afterwards is a lot. And I think talking openly about the joys of leaving with the crown, and also the hard parts of leaving with a crown, is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And Whitley in the Still She Rose workshop said that everybody is going to grieve at the end of this. Winners, the women that don't leave with a crown, both of you are going to grieve in different ways, and you're going to feel those things. And Whitley's the only person that's ever told me that you might feel negative emotions walking away as a title holder, just because
it's a lot.
It's a lot, and you have
very,
big hearts.
Very heavy.
You make friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then all the expectations on us this next year to perform at our highest level possible. For a normal person, that's a lot. I mean, we're not normal people, for sure.
No.
But to know that, oh my God, my normal life is so busy, but then to add this on top, like, I'm so excited. But there's just a lot more work now, and I'm here for it for sure. But and I'm gonna crush it. But I don't want to let anybody down either. I don't want to let my queens down, the people that I competed with, the director, like my sister queens. Like, there are so many more expectations of me now as a winner, rightfully so. I wanted this and I got it, and I'm so excited. But it's that first week back, like, holy shnikes, wow. And then it's crazy too, like, even at the airport coming home, I got so many picture requests from people. I didn't even post these yet. I took pictures. I jumped in the cockpit, the pilot got up. I got a picture with the pilot when I left, and my son comes up to me, he goes, "Mama, you're famous now." And I was like, "Oh, buddy, I've always been famous, but but now I have this amazing title." We're all famous. We're all powerhouse women. We all wear a crown, whether it be real or invisible. And we carry that every day. And now we just have to step up. But yes, to your point, mental wellness this week for all of us is a thing.
Yes.
Win or not win, it's real. It's depressing. I've cried hard after pageants, and there's so much negativity that can creep in. But you have to realize that everything happens for a reason. That's been probably my hardest lesson after pageants, is everything happens for a reason. And this time it was not your turn, or this time it was your turn. Because I've been on both sides. So
that statement is really important. And I feel like I love the encouragement for these women to come back, because I feel like last year there was an incredible class of women. This year, incredible class of women. I feel like the Mrs. division is getting more and more competitive year after year. Like, I'm glad I'm not competing in like 4 years, because it's getting harder and harder. And that was something that I said to all the ladies. Last year it was not my year, and I walked away and I was proud of my progress, and I set a goal, and I walked away this year successful, and I have the crown. So let that be a testament that just because this was not your year, it doesn't mean that you weren't worthy. This was my year for a purpose, but your year could be next year. Mm-hmm. So take that second chance, because I wouldn't have a crown on my head, and you wouldn't have a crown on your head if you didn't come back this year to compete again. So I hope we see all of those ladies. And I want to mention the groundbreaking that you and I also are doing this year. I'm not going to reveal your age on the podcast, because that's okay. Not my business. But you are a title holder that is breaking barriers with your age. You are telling women that previously the world would say, "Oh, you're out of your prime. You can't accomplish goals." Yep. You're crushing it.
Yep. And I'm 50 years old, baby. Woo!
Oh, she revealed it. She does not look 50. No, if you're listening and not seeing her,
I dress like it. Yeah, I've always taken really good care of myself, my skincare. My mom, just so you know, used to sell Mary Kay back in the day. And so when I was in my 20s, she was a Mary Kay superstar. And even in my early 20s, she gave me anti-aging moisturizer in my early 20s and said, start using it. I'm like, but mom, I'm only like 19, 20. She's like, it doesn't matter. It's never too early to start moisturizing. So I have been using anti-aging moisturizer since I was in my early 20s, and I've never stopped. Lather my face in it before bedtime. I put it on my neck. I put it on my elbows and my hands. So just a little secret tip to all you youngins out there. And then I take care of myself. I eat well. I dress well. Mentally, I'm always so active. I've got an abnormal amount of energy. I'm not a normal 50-year-old. Let's just say that at all. My son was like, nope.
No, I can attest. She does. That is a good child right there. We love him. But your energy level, I mean, I am in my and your energy level at nationals was like off the charts. I was like, oh my God, Misty just is so energetic. Love that. I think it kept a lot of us going. So the fact that you were able to accomplish this as a 50-year-old woman is astounding. And then I'm a curvy woman. I am not a small dress size number. I'm not in the single digits. I'm in the high double digits for dress sizes, 18.
And you're fabulous. You're so fabulous.
Thanks.
Curves, girl, work it, show them, do the thing. You have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Exactly.
and we are.
Yep.
Our size and age does not make a difference, and we have proven that this year.
Yes.
And I hope you put that in your press release, because it's definitely in mine. Age and size does not matter in International Ms. You're welcome no matter all of the barriers that you think you have, you don't.
Exactly. One of my favorite sayings, I say this in all of my Girl Scout workshops, which I will be coming to Maine to teach one to your troop at some point. So something I always say to them is that your size, your weight, your hair color, your eye color, your skin color, your age, these are all the height, they're all the least interesting thing about you. The most interesting thing about you is your heart and your kindness and the things that you do to empower others. It's what's inside of you that is the most interesting thing about you, not what you look like on the outside. And I think that rings so true. And by having you and I as title holders this year, International Ms. has always been a different system, but we are the proof that they put their money where their mouth is. I mean, when they say come one, come all and compete, and you show up, if you show up as your best self, it does not matter any of those requirements. You will be successful. And we're fortunately a testament to that. So I think it's really exciting and groundbreaking to see two different and completely different modes of change happening within the pageantry community, age and size. And I think we're going to do amazing things by bringing that to the forefront. And it's how we can also help the organization grow, which I'm super excited to see. I want to see all of the women saying, oh, I thought I couldn't do pageants because I'm 45, but Misty did it, so I'm going to show up. I want to see the girls who are, I thought because I'm a 14, I couldn't compete at a national pageant. Wrong, show up, So I look forward to seeing the change that can happen and the women that can be inspired. And if you're listening to this and you are looking for a system that feels like home and cares about your mental health, then International Ms. is 100% the system for you. And we both highly recommend it. Not just because we have crowns on our head. I would say the same thing if I did not come home with a crown.
That's right.
So something that I love to do is I asked my confidence question. One of my other favorite questions is, if you became famous tomorrow and had a published quote, what would it be?
I think that one quote I've always used my entire life is live life to the fullest. And I know that it is said a lot. And it's a pretty common quote, but to actually live it and believe it, or believe it and live it actually, is probably rare. I feel like people say it, but they don't actually do it. And I am proof that I do it. I live life to the fullest. My calendar sitting next to me, my day planner can attest to that I take every opportunity that comes at me. If it's going to make me a better person, and if it's going to make me grow, if it's going to make me happy, if it's going to help me empower and inspire others, then why say no to it? I try to not say no to any of those reasons because I want to live life to the fullest. We don't know when our last day is. It could be tomorrow. We may not wake up tonight, tomorrow. So, live every day as happy and fulfilled as you possibly can. Not every day is perfect. The sun does not shine every day, but you have to take every moment you can and live it to the fullest, because we just don't know when our time is up. And I don't want to have any regrets that I could have done something that I wanted to do, and didn't give myself the opportunity, or thought that I couldn't do something. Whatever barrier that is, I want to crush. And because I want to say that I did all of the things and I have no regrets when that last day comes.
That is an amazing quote, and you definitely do live by that. So I love that you answered that with such full authenticity. That was definitely a Misty answer, and I love it. And I love Misty.
Me too. And I love you. I love China. All of the girls. I'm just so excited this year. I just can't wait to see what's going to happen for us. So I'm here for it. And I know you are too.
I'm very excited. I don't think it's hit me. I still, to this day, I'm pretty sure today I've asked my husband, like, is this real? Mm-hmm. Like, as I was getting this sash and doing the intro to the episode, where I was like, you may notice that there is a new sash. I was like, oh my God, other than myself, what famous person would you designate as an honorary second chance queen, and why?
Lifelong idol I will share with you is Drew Barrymore. I love Drew. We're the same age, and she is, out of anybody I've ever met or know in my entire life, I could say that when we were already best friends, and she hasn't met me yet, but that she is definitely a second chance person, because she's been through so many things with her relationship with her family, growing up, and going out on her own at a young age, and being thrown into being a celebrity with ET when she was little, and going through drugs and alcohol abuse as a teenager, and marriages, divorces, kids, all of the things. She has been a wild child, but to pull herself out of that and make her life better. I DVR the Drew Barrymore show. I never miss it. I watch it. Even if I'm behind, I will catch up on them. She's just an amazing person. It's been a lifelong dream to meet her, and because we are so much alike. Our favorite color is yellow. We have so many things in common. And I just can't wait to hang out and just have a glass of wine with her. I just think it would be amazing. And I tried to get on her show 2 years ago at New York Fashion Week. My husband signed us up, paid for tickets. But if you don't know how all of those television shows worked on how you get on them, you line up that morning outside their doors, and they only take so many people, even if you already bought tickets. And if you bought a ticket and you didn't get in, then the next time you try to go, you're guaranteed entrance. So you get bumped to the front of the line. So next time I go, I'm guaranteed to get in, but I just don't want to get in. I want to meet her. I want to be on her show. So with my book that I wrote, We All Start the Pot to End Hunger. I really want to share that book with all of her viewers. I want it to be on the bestseller list. I want it to, all the royalties go to Feeding America. So another reason why to share that book with the world and open up the conversation of food insecurity and where food comes from, and that it shouldn't be stigmatized to not have food and be without, or have bare cupboards, or not know where your next meal is going to come from. It's so normal, and it's never going away, unfortunately. We can't prevent poverty. It's something that, and it's nobody's fault, unfortunately. But whatever I can do to help it and put a dent in those numbers is my goal. And to be able to share my passion and my journey and my Crushing Hunger tour and the number of people I've been able to feed as one person, to show that one person can make a difference. You just have to try and put in the effort and have the passion to make it happen. And so just to be able to inspire others by my is something I really want to do this year. And was part of my empowerment video when I submitted that to the judges, is that I want to go nationally because of my voice, because of what I've done. I'm the only person that has ever, when I finished that goal of visiting all 50 states through Feeding America, nobody's ever done that before. So that will be a story to tell. and the number of pounds of food I would have been able to have an impact on. And then sharing my book with people to get it out there, to help educate and to help other kids feel not so ashamed by the circumstances that they're in. So I'm hoping I'm successful at meeting Drew and some other talk show hosts like Kelly Clarkson, Jennifer Hudson.
Love her.
I'd love to get on Good Morning America. I would
Yep.
love to meet Dolly. That's another bucket list thing because of my passion for my book and what it can do to help people and feed America. So we'll see. But I think that the short answer would be, I think that Drew Barrymore is a perfect second chance queen because she's been given her second chance and she has so thrived. And her show is so special and just like her.
I absolutely love Drew Barrymore. I think she is so real and she has such like a childlike joy with her, like this innocence and this energy that is very childlike awe. Like I love her to pieces. So I'm so happy that you chose her.
She lives with all of her heart and she definitely wears it on her sleeve like I do. So I think that she's deserving for sure.
Absolutely. I would love to end the episode with any messages that maybe we haven't hit on, anything that you want to leave the listeners with, a farewell message, whatever you have on your heart that you want to share that we haven't covered in tonight's episode.
I don't think so, only because, I mean, I guess I would say that any opportunities out there for anybody that's listening for us as queens to represent this year, we would be open to being able to travel, going to galas for charity events, being celebrity hosts at events. I really feel like we are open and we are so excited to kick off our year as new title holders. So we don't know what is out there that awaits us. But if anybody listening has opportunities for us, please reach out. Ready to serve our communities that we live in and travel, especially me being able to fly for free. I would love to fly out to different countries and different states to be a part of big events as Mrs. USA. So we're ready and super excited to get started and put boots on the ground for our platforms and other community events out there. So keep us in mind and we're excited.
I don't think I could have said that better myself. Thank you for joining Misty and I on tonight's episode of the Second Chance Queen podcast. Misty Lee Coolidge is an absolutely phenomenal title holder. She is a working queen. She is feeding America and working to crush hunger. And I can't wait to see her hit all 50 states on our Crushing Hunger tour. And this is going to be an amazing reign for her. I feel so honored that I get to reign alongside her, and we're going to make this the best year yet. So follow along with Misty. Her socials will be tagged with the episode on Instagram. Follow along her journey. See as she marks off those states on her Crushing Hunger tour. I am Kristianna Mrjenovich, your second chance queen. And remember, you always have a second chance. You just have to be willing to take it.